Here are 23 lessons I've learned in my life so far. The first lesson I've learned is to become rich as a person before you become rich financially. When I say rich, I'm not just talking about money. To me, being rich means becoming the best version of yourself in every area of life. Focus on your physical health, your mental strength, your spiritual life, your relationship with God, your life skills, your experiences, your communication skills, your relationships with your family and friends, your morals, your purpose, your passions, your career, your finances, your ability to fight through hard times, your ability to drive, solve problems, and become independent. There are so many different areas of life that make someone truly wealthy, and money is only one of them. You have to become the man first before you become the man with money. That way, when money, influence, and success finally come into your life, you're actually prepared to handle them. My goal has never been to become rich just financially. Of course, once you become an adult, you realize that money absolutely matters. Money helps you take care of your parents. Money helps you provide for your future wife and kids. Money gives you opportunities. Money allows you to help other people and make a positive impact on the world. But before you can handle those blessings, you need to become the kind of person who deserves them. Build your character first, build your discipline, build your morals, build your work ethic, become mentally, spiritually, and physically stronger. Because if you don't, money will only magnify the weaknesses you already have. I see a lot of young people today, especially content creators, making hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars at 17, 18, or 19 years old. Some of them never had the chance to work regular jobs. They never learned how to deal with difficult coworkers. They never had to solve real world problems. They never built life skills. They never strengthened themselves mentally or spiritually. Then suddenly they're handed fame, money, pressure, and millions of people watching everything they do. Now they don't know how to handle stress. They don't know how to say no. They fall into the wrong crowds. They develop unhealthy habits. Some become addicted to attention. Some feel like they constantly have to do crazier and crazier things online just to stay relevant. Eventually people stop respecting them because everything becomes about getting views instead of adding value. The other day I was scrolling through Instagram and saw a bunch of creators trying to get into Kaizenat's Streamer University. Nothing against Kai, I respect what he's built, but it reminded me how many people today only want internet fame. Some people are chasing attention instead of chasing growth. I'd rather become someone who actually has something valuable to offer than someone who's only known for acting crazy online. So how did I try to become rich as a person first? I'm only 23 years old, but I started taking my life much more seriously when I was around 16. Back in 2019, I made a decision that I wanted to change my life. I started taking my last years of high school seriously. I got back into sports. I played football. I trained, I ran, I swam, I did biathlons, I practiced combat sports, I took college credit courses while attending a private high school. At the same time, I was working my first landscaping job, earning income while building real life experience. I started going to church more consistently. I wanted to grow in every area of my life. Then I graduated high school during the pandemic in 2020. While many people were staying home, I was working 2 full-time jobs. I worked fast food, I worked landscaping, I picked up side hustles, painting roads and curbs. Later, I worked 3 jobs at one point. I've worked in schools, airports, restaurants, warehouses, driving jobs, cleaning jobs, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and more. I tried different businesses. I failed. I experimented with content creation. I traveled. I bought my own car. I paid my own bills. I helped support my girlfriend and my family whenever I could. Every one of those experiences built me into a stronger person. They made me more mature, more responsible, more disciplined, more confident. Looking back now, I feel like those years were my transformation phase. I wasn't just chasing money, I was building myself. Now I feel like I'm entering the next phase of my life where I can take everything I've learned and apply it toward bigger goals. So if you want money, build yourself first. Become rich as a person before you become rich financially. Because if your entire identity is based on your bank account, then what happens when the money disappears? If you lose your money and suddenly feel like you've lost yourself, then your identity was never built on the right foundation. I've personally met people making 6 figures who were still depressed. People with successful businesses who struggled with alcohol. People who had money but were in rehab or dealing with serious mental health issues. Money alone couldn't fix those problems. That's why I believe becoming rich as a person is far more important than becoming rich financially. 2. Use 9-to-5 jobs to your advantage. The second lesson I've learned is to use 9-to-5 jobs to your advantage. I know a lot of people today want to become entrepreneurs. They want to make millions. They'll say, I never want to work a regular job. But the truth is, almost everyone has to start somewhere, even if it's McDonald's, even if it's Taco Bell, even if it's landscaping, even if it's retail. Income is income. More importantly, those jobs teach lessons that you simply cannot learn sitting at home. They build your life skills. They build your experience. They build your character. They teach accountability. They teach responsibility. They teach discipline, they teach communication, and they teach you how the real world actually works. Your paycheck can also become a tool. Maybe it helps you buy your first car. Maybe that car helps you get a better job. Maybe it allows you to help your parents or drive your siblings to school. Maybe it pays for your gym membership. Maybe it buys your first camera. Maybe it pays for your YouTube equipment. Maybe it funds your business. Every dollar has a purpose if you use it wisely. For me, landscaping taught me far more than just cutting grass. I learned how to use leaf blowers, how to trim trees, how to maintain fish ponds, how to paint roads and curbs, how to plant grass, how to operate forklifts, how to work outside in difficult conditions. More importantly, it taught me how to work alongside adults when I was only 16 years old. It taught me responsibility, problem solving, confidence, accountability. I remember working weekends where I had to open the property by myself around 6 a.m. The location hosted birthday parties, military events, church gatherings, graduations, and community events. I had to make sure everything was clean, safe, and ready before guests arrived. There were homeless people wandering onto the property. I remember having to politely ask two men to leave because they were camping near one of the halls. I had another guy approach me looking aggressive, and I honestly thought he wanted to fight. During COVID, someone came onto the property asking for gas because his car had broken down. At 16 years old, those situations pushed me way outside my comfort zone. Then I worked at Taco Bell from 2020 to 2022. Monday through Friday, I was working double shifts from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Customer service taught me how to communicate with all kinds of people. It taught me patience. It taught me how to stay calm under pressure, how to multitask, how to adapt when things got busy, how to work hard even when nobody was watching. I've worked food service, delivery, drive-through, fryers, taking orders outside with iPads, warehouse jobs, restaurant jobs, school cafeterias, driving vehicles at the airport, dishwashing, cleaning jobs, and so much more. Every single job taught me something different. Looking back now, I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. They helped shape the man I am today. So don't be afraid of working a 9 to 5. Use it as a stepping stone. Use it to build skills. Use it to build discipline. Use it to fund your dreams. And most importantly, use it to become a better version of yourself while you're chasing whatever your bigger goal may be. 3. Work hard with little to no reward. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is to work hard even when the reward is small. Back when I worked at Taco Bell during the pandemic, I was only making about $11 an hour. At the time, jobs were hard to find, and a lot of people around me had the mindset of, why should I work hard? I'm barely getting paid. They would call out of work, no call, no show, do the bare minimum, or just complain all day. They would always ask me, it's 5K, why do you work so hard? Why do you always show up? Why do you come in on your days off? My answer was always simple. Why not? I wasn't just working for $11 an hour. I was building my work ethic. I knew that one day I wanted to build businesses, become a content creator, make more money, and accomplish bigger goals in life. If I couldn't work hard for $11 an hour, what makes me think I'd suddenly become disciplined when I was making thousands of dollars? Your work ethic doesn't magically appear when you become successful. It gets built long before success ever comes. That same mindset applies to everything. If I upload a YouTube video and it only gets a few hundred views, should I quit because the reward isn't there yet? If I start a reselling business and don't make any money during the first month, should I just give up? If I start training in the gym or combat sports, do I expect to become the best fighter in the world after only 1 month? Of course not. The people who succeed are the people who keep showing up even when the results aren't immediate. I've noticed that you can tell a lot about someone's future simply by how they approach small responsibilities today. Do they show up consistently? Do they give their best effort when nobody is watching? Do they still work hard when the reward is small? Or do they slack off because they think no one notices? I remember one of my old friends had a driving job where he stocked shelves at different stores. He told me that most of the time he'd just hide in his car instead of working. I remember thinking, bro, why? Even if nobody's watching, you're still building habits. Every decision either strengthens your discipline or weakens it. I even apply this mindset outside of work. When I stay at a hotel, I still clean up my room before checking out, even though housekeeping's coming. When I eat at a restaurant, I try to clean up my table and throw away my trash whenever I can. Not because I'm getting paid, not because I have to, but because I believe in respecting people and helping others whenever possible. Spread the aloha. God is always watching, even when nobody else is. So don't become someone who only works hard when there's money involved. Become someone who works hard because that's simply who you are. Eventually, that work ethic will carry over into every area of your life. 4. Choose your friends carefully. Another lesson I've learned is to choose your friends carefully. Throughout my life, I've had a lot of different friend groups, but the truth is I barely talk to most of them anymore. As I started growing and taking life more seriously, I naturally began outgrowing certain people. When you focus on improving yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally, your priorities begin to change. You start realizing that not everyone wants to grow. Some people are perfectly comfortable staying the same year after year. Others only come around when they need something from you. I noticed that some friends would constantly ask me for money or favors. Whenever they needed help, I was there. But the moment I needed something, even something small, they suddenly disappeared. Some people didn't genuinely want to see me succeed either. Instead of encouraging me, they would laugh at my goals or try to bring me down. Eventually, I realized that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your life. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is quietly distance yourself from people who aren't helping you become a better person. That doesn't mean you hate them. It just means you're protecting your peace and your future. Today, I'd rather have a small circle of genuine people than a huge group of fake friends. The people around you influence your habits, your mindset, your decisions, and ultimately your future. Choose wisely. 5. Take care of your health in every area of life. Health isn't just about going to the gym, it's physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and taking care of your body as a whole. Growing up, I was always active. As a kid, I was constantly outside playing football, basketball, wrestling, boxing, running, swimming, and just staying active with the boys. In high school, I continued doing football, combat sports, biathlons, running, swimming, and other training. Physical activity was never really my problem. The problem came after high school. Once I started working full-time jobs, especially fast food, I stopped taking care of myself. I was drinking soda every day, eating unhealthy food, working long hours, sleeping very little, stressing constantly. Eventually, my body caught up to me. In the summer of 2022, I got a really bad stomach virus that lasted nearly 2 months. Ever since then, my gut hasn't felt the same. That experience completely changed how I viewed health. I realized that you can't grind forever if your body eventually breaks down. Since then, I made my health a much bigger priority. Now I go to acupuncture every week. I take Chinese herbal medicine. I do cupping therapy. I go to the chiropractor. I stay active through sports and combat training. I walk more. I try to stay positive. I pray. I work on improving my diet. I take better care of my teeth and oral health. One thing I still need to improve is getting more sleep because that's something I still struggle with. At the end of the day, none of your money, success, businesses, or achievements matter if you're too sick to enjoy them. Your health is your foundation. Protect it. 6. Stop procrastinating. Procrastination is one of the biggest dreams killers. I've struggled with it myself before, and I've also seen it in a lot of other people. People always say, I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start next month. I'm waiting for the perfect time. The problem is, that perfect time never comes. I have a 40-year-old Fortnite friend who always talks about things he wants to do. He'll say he's going to start a business. He's going to lose weight. He's going to learn a new skill. He's going to travel. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But years go by and nothing changes. The scary thing about procrastination is that it doesn't feel dangerous in the moment. One day turns into 1 week turns into 1 month turns into 1 year. Before you know it, 5 or 10 years have passed and you're still talking about the same dream you had years ago. I've learned that action creates momentum. You're never going to feel 100% ready. You're never going to know everything before you start, whether it's YouTube, starting a business, going to the gym, learning to drive, applying for a job, or chasing any goal in life. You simply have to begin. You don't need the perfect camera. You don't need perfect editing. You don't need perfect timing. You just need to take the first step. The version of yourself 5 years from now will thank you for starting today instead of waiting for tomorrow. Because tomorrow has a funny way of becoming next year. Stop waiting. Start moving. 7. Stop being comfortable. One of the biggest enemies of growth is becoming too comfortable. I think a lot of people become stuck because they're comfortable living the same life year after year. They have the same problems, the same habits, the same mindset, and the same excuses. If 5 years go by and nothing about your life has changed, then something has to change. Comfort usually means you're avoiding something. Maybe you're afraid of failure. Maybe you're afraid of rejection. Maybe you're afraid of looking stupid. Maybe you're afraid of leaving your comfort zone. But everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of discomfort. Every time I've grown the most, it was because I chose to do something uncomfortable. Whether it was working my first job, starting YouTube, learning new skills, traveling, or putting myself into situations where I wasn't confident, every uncomfortable experience made me stronger. Growth requires discomfort. Don't run from it. Lean into it. 8. Heal your past, your trauma, and your inner child. This is probably one of the deepest lessons I've learned. I truly believe a lot of people are still living according to the programming they received when they were children. Many of us went through difficult experiences growing up. Some people were bullied. Some people had absent parents. Some people grew up around constant fighting, abuse, neglect, or poverty. The problem isn't that those things happen. The problem is when those experiences continue controlling your life decades later. I've met people in their 40s, 50s, and even 70s who are still carrying pain from childhood. I knew an elderly woman who spent most of her life wondering whether her father was really her biological father. She ignored those feelings for decades, and only shortly before she passed away did she finally discover the truth through genealogy testing. She spent nearly her entire life avoiding something that she eventually had to face anyway. Healing doesn't happen by avoiding your pain. Healing happens by facing it. You have to walk through the fire if you want to come out stronger. It isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It's emotional. It's scary. But that's where healing happens. One way to know whether you've truly healed is this. Think about one of the most painful moments in your life. If simply thinking about it immediately brings overwhelming emotions, anger, or tears, there's a good chance there's still healing left to do. I remember talking to a man in his 40s who started crying while telling me about being bullied in elementary school. That happened over 30 years ago, yet the pain still felt fresh. I remember thinking, bro, you've been carrying this your entire life. Holding on to trauma doesn't just affect your mind, it can affect your body too. Over the past several years, I've noticed that whenever I become overly stressed, my body tells me before my mind does. My gut starts acting up, I become bloated, I start burping, I get acid reflux. In 2024, I even developed something called plum pit chi, also known as globus sensation, where it feels like there's something stuck in your throat. That taught me that emotional stress can eventually become physical stress. Healing your mind also helps heal your body. That's an entire video by itself, but it's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. 9. Sometimes you have to sacrifice today to build a better tomorrow. One of the hardest things you'll ever have to do is delay gratification. Sometimes you have to give up comfort today so you can create a better future. Maybe that means saying no to partying because you need to study. Maybe it means working extra hours instead of going out. Maybe it means spending years building a business before seeing results. Short-term sacrifices often create long-term freedom. 10. Real life experience is one of the best investments you can make. You can read books, watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, but eventually you have to go outside and experience life yourself, work different jobs, travel, meet new people, learn new skills, make mistakes. Experience gives you wisdom that no classroom ever can. 11. Progress isn't always linear. A lot of people quit because they expect success to happen in a straight line. Life doesn't work like that. Some weeks you'll make huge progress. Other weeks you'll feel stuck. Sometimes you even feel like you're moving backwards. That's normal. As long as you're improving over time, you're still winning. 12. Healing takes time. Whether you're healing physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, or spiritually, don't expect it to happen overnight. Most things worth fixing take time. Trust the process. Stay patient. Keep showing up every day. 13. Don't be afraid to be a beginner. Everyone starts somewhere. Nobody's born an expert. Whether you're learning a new language, starting a business, going to the gym, or trying a new career, you're going to look awkward at first. That's part of the journey. The beginner who keeps showing up eventually becomes the expert. 14. Don't compare your journey to someone else's. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose confidence. Everyone starts at different points in life. Some people have more opportunities. Some people have more challenges. Focus on becoming a better version of yourself instead of comparing yourself to someone else's highlight reel. 15. Consistency beats motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. You won't always feel motivated to work, to train, to study, or to chase your dreams. But if you stay consistent, the results will eventually come. 16. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers. Every mistake teaches you something. Every failure gives you experience. Every setback helps prepare you for your next opportunity. Don't let failure define you. Let it develop you. 17. Start with what you have. Too many people wait until everything is perfect before they begin. The perfect camera, the perfect business idea, the perfect timing. The truth is, you'll probably never feel fully ready. Start with what you have. Improve as you go. 18. Appreciate the past, but don't live there. It's okay to miss the good old days. It's okay to be nostalgic, but don't spend so much time looking backwards that you forget to build your future. The best memories of your life may still be ahead of you. 19. Small improvements. Every day, add up big changes. Usually don't happen overnight. They happen through small habits repeated every single day. Read one chapter, take one walk, save a little money, learn one new skill. Tiny improvements become huge results over time. 20. Become the person you want to attract, whether it's friendships, relationships, or business partners. Focus on becoming the kind of person you would want in your own life. Become honest, become disciplined, become dependable, become kind. The right people are naturally attracted to people with strong character. 21. Be honest with yourself. Sometimes the hardest conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Ask yourself tough questions. Where are you making excuses? What habits are holding you back? What do you need to improve? Self-awareness is one of the greatest tools for growth. 22, learn the lesson and apply. Knowledge doesn't change your life, action does. You can read hundreds of books and watch thousands of videos, but if you never apply what you've learned, nothing changes. Learning is only valuable when it's followed by action. 23. Your hardest years will become your greatest teachers. Looking back, I've realized that some of the hardest seasons of my life taught me the biggest lessons. The struggles built my character, the failures built my resilience, the setbacks made me stronger. So if you're going through a difficult season right now, don't waste it. Learn from it, grow through it. One day you'll realize those difficult years helped shape the person you were meant to become.